Well, g'day viewers, look around. You've got no idea where I am, but I do. I spent 5 years building a 1962 caravan into, well, a caravan. And 5 years, in the last 5 years of really playing around in my shed, I'm so stoked to be standing in it right now, recording the intro to this next podcast, which is an old mate from the 90s music scene who has done a lot of work and in Brisbane. And we basically started because in the Brisbane music scene had a thing called the Hoadley Battle of the Sounds in the 70s, and it was massive. And the Saints are the only band that there's a whole bunch of bands that won that thing, but the Saints were a massive band. Fast forward a whole bunch of years later, and lots of, supports and knowing everyone, and I'm stoked to actually catch up with this guy in my studio, which was just last Friday. It's Sunday night now. But the cool thing is, you know what just happened? The recording tape broke, kind of thing, in digital land, which I kept for this podcast show because Stewart Williams came from a time, and I did, when it was all analog tape and you didn't get a second chance. So I'm going to keep that mess in there. What was I saying? I don't know. So let's just get into the podcast with Stewart Williams, bass player, champion bloke that everyone loves. And again, this podcast is brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill out drink. Have a can of this. Find it. We're trying to fill shelves with it because it's a mate of a mate's business, and they gave me a bunch of boxes to promote. And the flat out thing is, it makes you feel very mellow. It's the opposite of a energy drink, and that's a pretty crazy idea. But we were all drinking it this last week, and everyone stands by it that, it just chills you out. It really does. Half a can in, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. And tell you what, half a can in, plus a beer, and everything is great. Anyway, Stewart Williams, this is your podcast, brother. Are you there, Stewie? What are you doing?
With alcohol.
Yeah, well, I did
terrible.
I had one of these only on Sunday, thinking there'd be a toy, and then and then had half a beer straight away. I was genuinely like, whoa.
Mellow.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the new thing. Stewart Williams. Do they call you Stewie?
They call me Stew. They call me Stew Based. They call me Ranger. They call me.
It's a bit rude.
Well,
turn that off.
Fucking.
This is the best part about it, mate. We don't talk about. We don't even look at those things.
Yeah, let's just excuse me.
Are you hooked
listeners?
by phones?
Yeah, kind of a little bit, I guess.
What is that? It's not an iPhone.
No, it's an Android, man. I think I just sort of slut between Mac and fucking Android. I've got an Android phone, but yeah, Stu Bass. Ranger's not. I think being a redhead and growing up, brother, I just take you get a thick skin, and I think Ranger's a pretty funny name. I don't take any offense. Actually, I actually endorse the caning that comes with that. But
it's funny, man. I've got my beard has actually dyed a little bit for rock and roll.
You dye for
but
rock?
I have but I've got a funny situation, man. From here down, my beard is Ranger, is orange.
I know brothers like that, man.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a mixed bag.
What's it all about?
I don't know. I think it's genes. Like I got a brother bass player who, his hair's blonde, but his beard's fucking ginger, and if you shave the beard, he's blonde. But you put the beard on the brother, and it's like, you're going to be a fucking tinge. But see, there's different variations, man, because, some of these guys, because they're blonde, they can get a tan. I can't tan, like, for shit.
Right.
Like, the sun's going to fucking brutalize me.
Right.
Beyond recognition. Yeah. So, nighttime events like bass playing and rock and roll, I think suited me pretty well, man, from a teenage perspective, Sorry, man.
Turn it off because you'll be distracted. Trust me.
I'm not.
Don't even. Is it face down?
It's fucking over there.
Good. Trust me, mate. Trust me. Because I tell you why. Because we're just hooked on them. if mine's in sight, it'll ruin. It's just how it goes now. I was saying just before that it's like the new fire. We used to be hooked on staring into fires. You know that when you go camping,
man,
you just keep staring at the fire. It's really entertaining.
Oh,
TV came along, and now we've got this fire in our hands. We just stare at this thing.
And it's funny because you go out and, man, fuck, you go to restaurants and every kid's got the phone. Yeah. The mum's got the phone, the dad's got the phone, and no one's fucking communicating. So it's kind of like the world got heaps smaller, but heaps far away.
Yeah,
all in one fucking crack, man.
I always say it, like, why us? But, Stu, like, we saw drinking out of taps and riding BMX bikes.
Dude.
And now we're in this. Like, it was actually us.
That generation.
That will never happen again. We saw the old life, and why? I feel like that's a gift. Like, why?
I know.
You could never explain. I got a little 4 or 5 year old son. I could never explain. Like, we walked down the aisle the other day at Coles or something, and I went, oh, yeah, here's one. Because I'm always playing music, but it's on through the iPhone, plugged into a stereo.
Yep.
So there's no product in hand. I just pointed to the CD rack. I went, hey, mate, what's that? He goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's music. And he was just looking at me like, what's that? Like,
yeah, what the fuck? What are you talking about, Dad?
Yeah, like, so to a kid now, like, it just appears. It comes out of the sky.
Yeah, they don't know. They'll never know, not like us.
Weird.
And it's funny because you bring it up, because last night I was thinking about this interview, and I was thinking back to 94, 95, which would have been Bull Rush for you.
Yes.
And Tower for me. And I was thinking about being in a band, and, you know, back then, to basically break it down, you recorded an EP, and it was analog. Computers were just coming in. You took that product. You had to have a hard copy. You had to. Yeah. Obviously, there's no fucking digital back then, you know. And you buy the annual
had to
industry
be at someone's
book.
house too.
Yeah, had
someone
to be someone's
had to
house, man,
yeah.
or some studio, some guy who's going to give you a hand. And basically, then you go and buy this book that was the industry handbook, and it cost about $80, and it had every fucking everyone from Q management, which is Metallica's management, to fucking Susan Silver, Chris Cornell's management, who did she helped Alice in Chains, blah 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 blah. It had their number, it had their address, no emails back then, just fax numbers and phone numbers and addresses. So back then, I remember in Tower, we'd sit down, we're like, okay, well, what are we going to do? All right, well, we'll fucking send these CDs just randomly to these people, or we'll call them on the phone, and generally you basically 99% of the time got told to fuck off in a professional way, but that was the vibe. The funny thing, I remember sending this CD to Q Prime management, and it must have taken 2.5 weeks for it to go in the same package, and never got open and came back, because what you don't realize is that in America, you has to be solicited for them to fucking listen to it. Right. Solicited material, which means solicited means they invite you to listen. Right. They say, I want to listen to your product. That's solicited. If it's unsolicited, it's legally, it's like, they can't touch it. It's like fucking fire. So you go through this whole rigmarole, and then you fast forward to kind of 2004, 3, and MySpace comes out, and it's like, fuck, instantly you can connect your music with fucking millions of people by pushing a button, man. And it's it's insane.
I don't, and the judge is out whether it's good or not. Like, because like you were just saying, you'd have to record to analog. So just doing that was one take, you had 6 hours, and if you messed up your take, you're
back to start.
We had to. Well, even
drop-ins were not
drop-ins
for drums.
Were so hard
to do, man. And we weren't like recording the Black Album where we had like Randy, whatever his name was, getting a fucking razor, cutting the fucking. Cutting the tape like perfectly
to their 17 guitar tracks.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have. We obviously none of us ever had any of that.
Yeah, we only had $600 to do 6 hours or something, or 12. So there was simply, how many times did demos come out or records come out with bum notes? Like, often.
Shitloads. But the thing about, when I think about that to the digital age is that, that's kind of what gave it its organic fucking feel, because unless you're really doing like these new bands like Periphery or trying to think of something real clinical, but generally a great rock album like fuck She Ad's Killjoy or go back first, Soundgarden, fucking Bad Motorfinger, Alice in Chains, they're all analog. I'll guarantee that fucking bass drum tracks were all done in one crack. There was no fucking around.
Yeah, and it was like something to be proud of, like really proud of.
Yeah, you put a lot of work, and I think that's how you went into those recordings back in the 90s. You had to know your shit, fucking upwards, sideways, downwards, upwards, because digitally now I can sit at home and I think Tower paid in the end maybe we amassed $5,000 to get Create the Alien Sun done through a lot of shit, but
a lot of money in the day.
Yeah, for actually a good friend of ours, John Weeks, who was actually a bank manager at National Bank, gave us the fucking loan.
Wow.
Yeah, which is incredible. Yeah,
and that's how it worked in those days, though, because you're like, dude, there weren't that many bands that could actually record. There wasn't.
No,
so
man.
The chances of you having an older brother or someone's uncle who was just I played guitar once, I'm going to back you guys, like the old dream.
That's it, man. And now I can, in my bedroom, make something in 3 hours that costs nothing, but sonically sounds fucking 20 times better. But, it's kind of cheating because, I'll record, a verse, and then I just cut and paste the whole fucking song for the second verse, the basics of it, so you kind of lose that.
Yeah, that bum note you might have made. Oh my God, that actually worked.
That's cool.
That changed the whole chord.
Exactly, man. But at the same time, as I left the band scene in 2008, and and after a little while toying with, do I even like music? Do I I put you put 20 years into something, you don't realize how much commitment it fucking takes when you're in a band, for any band for a long time.
When your friends are buying houses and selling houses and jet
and you're
skis.
just on the dole eating fucking fuck all, and it's fun, but it's also
you often rethink your life, like
totally all the time, man. So I finally figured out, what, there's too much of a talent to give away, so I'll do my own music and I'll produce it and record it, and and that's where I live at the moment, and I love it, and it's great. But I still look back at those days of analog and being in the studio and the smell of a studio, and you could smoke in a fucking studio.
Yeah, a big lounge behind the desk.
Yeah, man.
It was like the only place you ever went in that was soundproof, so it had that.
And it was cool.
Your ears were like, wow, we're in this different air, mate.
And it was like a big, you felt, at 18 or 19, you felt like, you were fucking recording the Black Album.
Yeah.
You're in a studio, man.
Well, there was
rolling. You got the guy at the desk fucking bobbing his head going, yeah, guys, that's really rocking. You
really, man? Really?
Yeah.
There was every chance, though, you were going to make it, though. There was every chance,
man. And,
because bands were still coming through, like, I can never think, Angels were still about, but you know what I mean?
Scary Mother, you had.
They were cruising through town still. You were supporting them.
Yeah, man.
There was every chance you'd be next. Screaming Jets,
Screaming Jets,
were the
man.
big ones
the
before
Poor Boys,
yeah.
Who I'm sure.
Yeah,
did you take
times.
for?
Yes.
Yeah,
supported
whether it's Bull Rush, Living End, fuck.
Yeah, I know, but it's So the question is, I'm in this cover band, right? So, and I've never been in a cover band until 3 years ago. I like it for these reasons, right? And at first I didn't want to be in a cover band because you're probably like everyone else in original bands, especially us in the 90s. It was like us versus them in a way.
It was. Well,
the cool part about it is I quickly learnt that's a cheeseball song. But hang on, if I really try and sing it, like I sing in this, so if I really try and sing this song, that's the fun, like actually doing that song. So that's our game, is to really be like that record. So that's one game. The other one is when people stop dancing in these things, it really sucks. Like so the crowd has become this nothing. But no matter what, like we did Queens of the Stone Age. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. What a song! Fuck.
I know, what a song.
What
so
a
we
song,
actually
man.
took 4 Wednesday night rehearsals to get that down because it's such a great song. And then when we finally did it, Wallaby Hotel Mudgeerbar, where it's,
Boom.
boys, like, yes.
Boom.
It sucked. It sucked the next 3 times we play it. So that's what I mean. In these cover bands, you just have to throw these things away and you're like, well, the songs they just come and go.
I guess it's not as personal.
Yeah.
I think covers for me, it wasn't, I think I just